Welcome to the Street Spirituality Podcast. Today I have joining me Rafa Semilla, who's a drummer, a musician, ceremonial leader, and my friend. He came to talk about his passions in shamanism and his journey on the medicine path. I've known Rafa for a while, and he has an incredible depth of understanding around healing and has an amazing outlook on the world and spirituality. Hope you enjoy it. Here it is. Rafa, what's up, bro?
Hey, brother, how are you?
Good, how are you, man?
Good.
Yeah, so you're fresh off your trip from Estonia?
Estonia, yes.
How was that?
What can I say, bro? It was an amazing journey. It was cool to get to know people from other countries, their culture, what they eat, and also learn about the sense of humor. What is funny to them might not be funny for us, so it's been really interesting. We spent 3 weeks there, so yeah, really happy I went there, yeah.
Yeah, and you were doing ceremonies?
Yeah, well, I was drumming.
Mm-hmm.
I was drumming. Once again, it's a very humbling experience to be drumming for a sacred circle. Let's call it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was with you, right?
Yeah, it was with the
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, with the grandfather of medicine.
Yeah.
So imagine where this medicine is taking. Well, not only taking me, it's taking a lot of people around the world. So it's like one moment there in the middle of ceremony, I realized, how did a Colombian end up in a teepee playing for a Mexica ceremony to a group of Estonian people? How did that happen? So, again, we always say that our ancestors, someone down the line, pray for us to be there. You know, so that sentence comes into consideration there. Man, definitely something was up in the past, and it's taking us all these years to come out here, uniting. The roadman that I was working with, he said, I'm sure these people have taken peyote at some point in their history, somewhere down the line. Someone brought them peyote here.
Yeah.
Definitely. And yeah, it's very magical land. So much water. So much wood. It's just incredible. It's something like, wow. They have a lot of green there. So yeah, very magical connections with the Estonian people, indeed.
Yeah. And that connection with the nature is so important, and feeling that in your society, and to be surrounded by that is something that I can imagine is incredible.
Time moves different there.
Yeah.
It moves differently. It's amazing. It's like you can fit 2 days in 1 day there. It doesn't go dark. There's no night. At this moment, there's no night.
Wow.
So it's like so you need to be checking your phone all the time because people are getting used to it. So it's 11, 12, 1 in the morning, and people are still outside enjoying it. Because again, on the winter, it's the opposite. You don't see the light of the sun. So now it's very good.
Yeah. And I've heard, because their medicine is the mushroom, right? Traditionally.
Yeah, it's very interesting. There is a lot, myths about the wolf and the woman. The women are like the keepers of the magic, So there's a lot of reference to women that ride the wolves there, So it's, and they break down into the songs.
They ride the wolves?
Yeah, they ride the wolves.
Fuck.
Yeah, so it's magically there is a connection there between the wolves and the bears, and they have bears as well, but it's there is this thing between the wolf and the woman there, which is really interesting. And one point I was drumming for one girl and she was singing wolf, making wolf sounds. And like, all right.
Power.
Yeah.
Power, man.
I was just trying to keep up with the drumming, man. She was making me drum really fast, so I was just keeping it there. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting, very beautiful. It's very grateful for having the opportunity of meeting not people from other cultures and going deep into their journey with their ancestors, searching and looking for their ancestors, for their connection. Because you at this, when you meet the people through medicine, you're not just meeting the day-to-day reality. You're going deeper, and you are with them in that journey of going deeper into understanding themselves, into finding themselves. So yeah, lots of gratitude for that.
Yeah. And going back to what you were saying about, how is this Colombian guy sitting in a teepee with these Lithuanians and taking this Mexican medicine, and I have heard that there used to be, talking thousands and thousands of years ago, a real global shamanic community. And with the Roman saying, these guys have taken peyote before, it's very possible. And it seems to be going that way again.
Yeah.
In the world, all these medicines are being shared in places that they're not native to, and allowing people to see life from a different perspective and to access healing that they may not have access. Like in England, in London, a lot of our spiritual traditions were destroyed. So for the opportunity to sit with ayahuasca, to sit with peyote, and remember some things about ourselves it's amazing. And it's a real privilege.
Yeah, I feel that we really live in the times of the prophecy, the times where the condor and the eagles come together, the time where the ancestors are being born again, the maestros, the teachers are being born again in different countries, in different cultures. We're living these times of unity, of awakening around a sense of a need for a different community, a need for a different way of connecting and dealing with each other. So for me, I feel that it's not just about the prophecy now. It's my life. It has turned into my life. And I truly believe it because I have witnessed it. I've seen how people around the world are praying to be able to have a space for them to pray, to live, to raise children in the way they want, to plant their food, to plant their seeds, to organize themselves in a different political way, structure, of, how you call it, of communities of outside the society, and I think this whole thing is coming. The medicine has been helping people to realize the need for a change. Medicine is just finding a way to teach us to make revolution through evolution. No more clashing.
Yeah.
No more clashing. No more war. No more confrontation. This is what I'm learning with my brothers from Mexico, is the art of no confrontation. Just like the water, So in this sense, medicine is helping people to find their prayer. And this came to me in the last ceremony, the big prayer. We all carry a big prayer in our heart. What is it? How is it? How are you going to do it? We don't know. You can only know if you start walking the sacred path, walking life, with connection to the elements, with respect to the foods, to the people, to the animals, in balance. Because I think this is also what medicine gives to us, is show us a way for balance, to balance ourselves with everything, being givers and not only takers. So yeah, really interesting what's happening around the world. I seen it happening in Australia, it's happening in Colombia, Costa Rica, and different countries are coming together to formulating a different way to live. And medicine has played a role in that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Mm. And coming from Colombia and seeing these traditions from that part of the world coming around to different parts of the world, how is that? Is it a sense of pride, or is there issues? You hear different things. Ayahuasca has become so popular that it's actually affecting the indigenous populations where it's from, and the same with peyote now.
Yeah.
It's become a protected plant, right? Because so much more is needed if you're taking it around the world as opposed to these smaller communities.
Yeah.
How do you see that playing out?
That's a good question, bro. It's everything at the same time,
Mm.
I mean, medicine is for sharing. The medicine is to be given. And like we mentioned before, our ancestors, they have been sharing the medicine for a long time. I think I saw it somewhere. I think my brother told me they found coca leaves in a Egyptian, how you call tomb?
Tomb, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, really?
Yeah. And also they found Mayan symbols.
No shit.
Yeah, so stuff like that. So there is evidence that it's being shared,
Yeah.
Now there is an issue with so much sharing, that because obviously there's been a demand that is being created. And there is a lot of people doing the medicine, yeah? Or the sacrament, call it whatever, or the teacher plan, So one can only hope and trust the keepers of the medicine are thinking forward and are replanting the medicine, and doing their bit to keep things going. I know that some communities are already taking steps to protect the plants, to protect certain areas. But we're just carriers of the plants, really. People are just carriers of the plants. The plants, they have their own intention. They have their own will or mission. So yes, the only thing I feel that as an individual one can do is to make sure that one is doing the things in the right way possible, in the best way possible, and just send that energy, so they can share and other people can also feel that things can be done in a sustainable way.
Yeah.
Sustainable way. Because we're talking about sustainability here.
Sure.
Yeah, it's like that, but it's also something about stepping into a moment in time where the people that will seek the medicine will seek it with respect, so that it keeps its sacred component to it, so it doesn't just become a product of the market. So it's I feel that that's something that one need to take into consideration if one is going to come to use these medicines, is to not to see it as a recreative drug, or not to see it as something as a shortcut to a problem, to an issue, because it's not. So I think that's also very important, that we don't need to be drinking every weekend or every month, These are things that need time, space for how would you say it? Integration. Here in London we come to a ceremony, and then following 2 weeks we have to go to work, in the city, in rush hour, so many things, and you're open, your whatever you want to call it, your senses, your chakras, whatever, you're open, you're sensitive. So yeah, there is a lot more that we can do as practitioners, as people that do the medicine, that will slow the train down a bit. Yeah, I think that's we should slow maybe a bit and see how the plan can be implemented in the best way possible.
Yeah, and it's that integration process that is really the trickiest part. How do you bring the lessons that you've been shown in a ceremony and ground them into your life? And that was certainly the case with me. The first time I did ayahuasca, I naively went into it thinking, I'm going to drink this medicine, something's going to happen. I'm going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be healed. Everything I came in for is going to drop. And fuck, how wrong was I? It was worse. It was way worse, because it was like, not only, these are your issues, let's play them out in a slideshow. And you know what? It's your fault, because you're doing these things and you're bringing them into your life. And it's these patterns. And it was a hard truth, and that integration to then take your own courage when you're away from the plant and say, okay, I'm going to meet you halfway, and I'm going to change these things about my life, and I'm going to drop these things that aren't serving me. That, to me, it takes a lot of courage and takes time. And it took a long time to even begin to integrate any lessons from that first ceremony, and it was such a shock to me. Like all of these things I'd read online and heard people talking about, I drank and I saw everything, and everything was made clear to me, and I saw these beautiful colors. I was like, no, man, I had like a 9-hour panic attack. And I did. I said to the shaman the next day, I was like, I'm not doing that again. No way. He said, look, just relax. Go on. Every experience is different. Relax. And I did, and the second ceremony was beautiful.
Okay, good.
But yeah, it's not all love and light.
No, it's not. It's quite the opposite. It's quite the opposite, bro. Because I'm glad you mentioned it. I was going to actually say, most of the time medicine makes even things harder for you at the beginning, so that you shift your energy, your frequency, so that you can go up. Like you can become better, and do better. But before that, you need to go through an acknowledging of your darkness. But darkness ain't bad.
Yeah.
Darkness ain't bad at all. In the Mexica culture, they call it the Tezcatlipoca, the smoking mirror. And it's a concept that is really, really fascinating. I've been learning little bits by little bits that I've been learning with my friends, and it's that acknowledging of where we come from. We come from, through this process of experiences in life that are challenging, sometimes, and But we need to overcome these challenges. We need to overcome these situations in order to step into higher frequencies, you know. And sometimes when you deal with things in a beautiful way, in the best way, you can actually feel that energy coming through to your body, and then you can actually feel how you have chosen the right way, the beautiful way to do things. You know, it's as simple as that. As simple as that. So yeah, this process of acknowledging your dark side sometimes can be traumatic, because we've been told that dark is bad, that and we are afraid of dealing with our own issues, because of we come from societies like, for example, my country, we're very Catholic, and this whole religious thing is based on fear or sin, all these things. So obviously, sometimes we have difficulties in dealing with our own our darkness, because of all this guilt and all this fear that's been imposed on us, because of religion. But with the medicines, it's a different game. You realize that you can change things very quickly in one night. You can change things. Yeah, you can become aware. Yes, you can become aware, but then you need to take the steps forward in order to make these changes. That's what I think. That's what you mean by saying meet the medicine halfway.
Yeah.
Because definitely it's not a miracle. A potion, a miracle potion. No, it's not. It is, but it's not. So you have to do the work.
Yeah. To me, it's like you take the medicine and you get picked up and you get put on the top of the mountain and you can see for miles and everything's clear, and it's like, wow, I could have all of this. I could feel like this. This is the truth. And then the next morning you get picked up and you get put halfway down again, and they say, okay, now it's up to you to climb to the top again. Now you know what's there. Now you felt that feeling of oneness and of being healed from whatever it is that you need healing from. But it definitely seems to be gaining traction. The medicine path, it's becoming very, very popular, and there's ayahuasca articles in The Independent, and it can only be a good thing, right?
Yeah. Always. Everything that have to do with people having access to the medicine is positive. What we have to do is educate more people about the medicine, how it works and how careful they need to be, how they can make sure that they're drinking with the right people, how to deal with the integration process. Because one of the things, for example, that you see a lot is that people are from their first or second, sometimes from the first or second ceremony, they immediately feel that they need to become shamans, and that they're being told by the plants that they're being selected as the next shamans of that will bring the change in the world and all this. So we need to give people a lot more information about how it really works and how to deal with all this. So that you ground yourselves, and if it is real that you have a call to work with the medicine, you go to the tribes, you spend time with them there, you do the dietas there, and you go through the lineage and learn in the best way possible. We must do take the little effort of learning from the real keepers of the medicines, knowing that you cannot buy the ticket into your shamanic path. You can't buy it. I'm sorry, there is no shortcut for all this. Is in order for you to work with the medicine, to serve the medicine, so to become a shaman, whatever you want to call it, the healer, you need to live this path. You cannot buy your way in. You need to live and you need to be. Your life needs to be moving around it, and you cannot do this as a part-time. You need to devote your life to this, because a shaman is not someone that is just to run ceremony. Shaman plays a social, political role in the community. There can be no shaman with no community, because it's the community that gives the recognition to the shaman. So yes, I think there is a lot that would be nice to talk to people about it, so that they understand that yes, there will be people selling them a certificate. We know that.
You can become, you can get the certificate, you can go to Peru or wherever and train for 3 months in the jungle and come back and start serving the medicine, which is incredibly dangerous.
It's
the energies that are brought up in a ceremony, there's no way, no matter how called you are or who, if you are the chosen one, if that exists, it takes time. It takes so much time and
experience.
And I've drank with people who are indigenous, and I've drank with people who aren't. And I'm not saying that you need to be indigenous to hold the ceremonies in the right way, but for whatever reason, there was a big difference. And you could feel the lineage with the indigenous. You could feel the power. You could feel the trust that they had in the medicine and in themselves to hold the ceremony. No matter what came up, they'd seen it all before. It was in their blood.
Exactly.
And it just shifted things ever so slightly. And that security is sometimes all you need to surrender that little bit more, to access that part of you through a little bit more fear, that's where the gold is.
Mm-hmm. In London we have we are privileged here in the UK, because we have access to different cultures here, shamanic cultures. So people should appreciate that a bit more, in the sense that they should take these opportunities that they're coming here. The keepers of these traditions are coming here, so they make the connections with them, And if they are called to the medicines, well, go with the natives. Go with the natives. That's what I would do. That's what I do. I go with the natives, direct to the source. Cut the short, the middle person that's always trying to make whatever. But there is nothing wrong with the work that some people do around shamanism, like running courses and running sweat lodges and building communities. That's a different thing. Yeah, that's a total different thing, because knowledge is to be shared, and there are different ways of sharing this knowledge. Some people do it through the drumming, through the music, sweat lodges, tipi ceremonies, cacao ceremonies, water blessings. It takes different shapes and forms, and I think it's very important that all this gets done. And we need even more. We need more praying circles, more singing circles, because we are all chosen, man. We are all chosen. Whatever you like it or no, you're here to live this life, and it's a beautiful opportunity. It doesn't come like, you know what I mean? It's not like something that you can just exchange or anything. No, like you're here now. And it feels beautiful when you embrace that big prayer. It feels, it does shift things in your life when you realize that you have come to a point where you're taking the responsibility on doing something that is beyond you. And that's where I am at the moment, sort of for a long time, through my work, not knowing how I would call what my life is, and then I realized, like, okay, hold on, well, you're basically holding your prayer. So my life now, I realize, is a big prayer that I need to share with other people, that I need to, work with other people. But I think it keeps you humble, and it keeps your creativity up, and your your creativity and your connection. So I think that's what, for me, this whole shamanism or medicine path or sacred path or whatever you want to call it. This is what, if that's for me on my daily life as a person that's a Londoner that lives in North London, it's like it keeps me in this space. It keeps me connected to something higher, So yeah, that's we all carry a prayer, but
Yeah. And I think what's so attractive about these cultures, and the South American medicine culture, Central American medicine culture, and even, Hinduism and yoga from the East, and Buddhism, like these are real rich spiritual cultures that are still thriving. And it's like people from, the West, which is pretty spiritually starved in a lot of ways, are getting drawn to these for the right reasons and being shown this way of life, and to live with nature and to learn, and to, there is healing that's available that you might not have thought was accessible to you before. But every culture around the world, if you dig back far enough, had these lessons. They had these cultures. So if you're born in England and you want to become a shaman, or you feel drawn to shamanism, that doesn't necessarily mean you need to move to the rainforest. There's so many lessons that you can learn from these amazing cultures, which have been so generous in sharing their information. But dig a little deeper, and that's a lot of the work I'm doing in shamanism at the moment. It's like, okay, what did my ancestors do? What were my ancestors doing? How far do I have to dig back to my shamanic culture, or the equivalent? And that's been fascinating for me, and when I found that out, I could really connect to it, because it was like, okay, this is in my blood now. And going back to that global shamanic community, that where everyone is sharing and using their different techniques, and it's there.
Yeah,
just got to dig.
And we're fooled when we're told that we live in the era of connection of information. Because it's funny, is like our shamanic, our ancestors, they were way more connected than what we are really. They didn't have all this technology, but they still managed to connect and to exchange real and powerful knowledge. For example, I recently found out in a video in the Tibet, the Tibetans, they heal with the blow, with the breath. They use the breath to heal people. That's how they do it in the Amazon. So how come the people in the Amazon, they're the doctors that blow, yeah? So, and the Buddhists, they have the same thing, and they are like miles and miles apart, but they have the same knowledge. Then also another book that I read, it was about how the mammoths from the Sierra Nevada communicate with the Tibetan monks, with the Buddhists, through water.
Wow.
The stuff, like magical stuff like that. And then like, okay, well, that explains why there's so many similarities.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of similarities from the philosophy of the spirituality of the East and the shamanic ways of the people of the Americas. You just stay there for a while, keep doing the medicines and keep reading about spiritual practices in the East, and it's like, wow, man. It's like, okay, yes, it's I think the shamanic connection is in essence is the same for all of us. It's all about the connection to the elements, the sacredness of life, looking at the stars, being nice.
Yeah.
You know,
Simple, man.
simple.
So simple.
And here in the UK, bro, like the Druids,
Yeah.
this line is magical. This is known as the magical island, man.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like I was telling you in the car, like I saw a video that where it mentions that these islands in Ireland was the last place where a big battle was fought between good and evil. You know, fighting to keep peace, and you know, and but it was whatever it's true or not. It's just that magical. Thinking about that magical moment, you know, in the history of humanity, where it was the people here, the Druids here, with the magical powers that stood, made the last stand for against evil, you know. So like, oh my, and I believe it because that is one of the reasons maybe why all the cultures are mixing here and coming together here, because here in the UK you can have access to nearly like everything that you think about it, you find it here. You know, so that is no coincidence.
Yeah. Yeah. And talking about the Druids, like the other day, the last weekend, I went up to down to Kingsley Vale with this ancient yew forest. It's the oldest yew forest in England, maybe in Europe. I'm not sure, with the most amount of yew trees together. And the yew tree is incredible. It has the ability to regenerate itself. So some of these trees, there's a grandfather yew down there that's over 2,000 years old. And they're massive. They grow out limbs, which grow down into the ground, and they grow up again, and they just look like, you know, they were the cathedrals for the pagan traditions in this. That's where they went to worship. Okay. So when the churches came over here, they couldn't get the pagans to worship, you know, Jesus and God, so they decided to build churches by the yew trees, because at least they'd be going to the same place to try and win them over, and I guess eventually it worked. But I was sitting on my own overnight under this yew tree, and some of the visions, just, you know, the medicine through this tree, this living thing that had seen so much. You know, I don't know how old the one I was under. It was pretty big, you know, older than me. So these, you know, it doesn't necessarily need to be hallucinogenic to be a medicine, you know, and we talk a lot about sweat lodges, the Temazcal, which you work with closely, and how powerful that is for healing.
Yeah, I think that's it's a very important part of the work that I do, is to help people to connect through other means different to the sacred plants. So I work with the drumming, and I work with the Temazcal, the sweat lodge. This work is as basic, but as complex as it gets, because you're working with powerful medicines, which is the water and the fire. So two elements, you know, they're no plants, they're elements by themselves. So they're, as such, a plant needs these elements to grow. You know, these are the primal elements of life. So again, there is water by itself is the number one, if you want to call it like that. You know, water maintains life. For you to establish a relationship to water is the first and the most important thing that you can ever do in your life. You know, pray to your water. Make water, clean water, be the first thing you drink in the morning. You know, like my Mexica brother, he says he was told to have the first conversation of the day, to have it with the water. When you're taking a shower, take a shower consciously. You know, why do you think people say that they sing only in the shower? That came to me not long ago. Like, yeah, of course, because I asked my taita, the person I was learning from about ayahuasca. So I asked him, "Well, taita, how do you learn to sing?" And he said, "Well, the river will tell you. Water will teach you how to sing." I'm like, okay. And then they say me, yes, water that teach you how to sing. And then I made this connection, like, yeah, I guess that's why people sing under the shower, because water sort of get that out of you, activates you, So yeah, little things like that you can be conscious about the use of water as medicine. Water is a powerful medicine.
Yeah.
And fire, obviously, fire is fire. So we work with these two elements in the sweat lodge. So yeah, it's a very strong medicine, very, very safe as well. You say that's a good thing, that it's safe, so you can work in a beautiful way with this medicine. So you also in the sweat lodge, you people will get inspired to sing, because singing is an important part of the ritual, and learning to sing, not just singing to show, because we don't sing as a part of a show, as a performance. We sing to pray. So that is something very important. An important element that you bring into your life is the air. You bring in the other element, the air, and how you project your voice and how you can give people and help people with your voice. So that's a very beautiful thing to connect to. That's very beautiful medicine.
Yeah.
Your voice, singing every day, sing a song, sing one song, 2 songs every day. You start feeling the difference. Drink your water, light your candle, build your altar. That's the essence of shamanism, like the very first stages. But you do yourself a lot good if you take these first stages of your spiritual path very seriously. Build a true relationship with water, maintain your fire, and sing.
Yeah. Offerings.
Yes.
Offerings.
Yes. That will cover. That will teach you a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you won't have to pay a certificate.
Yeah.
Which some people need it. That's all right. That's good.
Yeah, with our culture, isn't it? You need that certificate to be taken seriously.
Yes,
apparently.
So good.
But also with the sweat lodges, there's the fire, there's the water, then the process, the beautiful process. You heat the rocks, earth, and then the water on the rocks creates steam and air, and those 4 elements contained in the lodge. It's like a medicine wheel that you're inside, and for me it's like going back into the womb, and it's a second chance to come out again, a chance to leave something in there, to pray for something, and where I know I'm being listened to, and
wow.
it's I think it is my favorite ceremony.
Mm-hmm. Can you write down on my website?
Yeah, sure, man. I haven't copyrighted it yet, but
it's good publicity, good marketing, bro. Yeah, it's funny, man. Sweat Lodge came to my life in a moment where I needed to redirect my relationship with the medicines, and I was supported strongly by my friends to start running the Sweat Lodge, and because I knew it was big responsibility, and I have doubts, but unfortunately, by expressing my doubts to the Creator sent me the answers, to assure me that I was doing the right thing. The sweat lodge, this is the path of the warriors, man.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough love. no matter how gentle you are, it's like people inside, and you as the person pouring the water, you carry a big responsibility, and you feel it. You feel it. You feel it. But again, I like what you say about like this is the place where I feel I've been hurt. Nice, and that sort of confirms to me that that the work, the preparation that takes place before the sweat lodge, and the heart that we put into the work is really paying off. People are feeling what the intention is. Brother, if you open a hole in the earth, you hit the stones, like we call them their ancestors, they've been here way before us, so they contain energy, they contain information. So we pray, we put them into the hole, we cover the blankets, we put the blankets, everything. At that moment, the sweat lodge becomes like a spaceship. Yeah. Where doesn't necessarily have to take off. But what I mean by spaceship is like that it becomes like a vehicle of energy. A lot of energy moves around it, under, I seen this in a vision. I seen it. And then so one day I was doubting, and then medicine showed me, no, this is what's up, man. Poof. Like, wow. With my eyes open, I saw this for 2 doors, so nearly 2 hours. I was being shown what was happening inside. So it was just amazing to see how the whole sweat lodge became like this powerful thing with energy. And I could see it. The energy is in people inside, and how with the water you work and with the prayers, and it really humbled me, man. After this whole thing, I'm gonna go home. I was crying because then it's like I'm doing something right. And we're doing it with the most basic elements, which are the most powerful: the water, the fire, the land. That perhaps the main element that makes the difference is the love, man, the heart. You have to have that very clear, because there is no way to hide behind sacred stones and the sacred water. Yeah. So I need to make sure that every time I step into that sweat lodge, I have a clear idea that is my heart. That I'm following my heart and giving, and I'm gonna give 100% for my people. If I have to give my life, I would rather give my life than the life of anyone there. That's how you need to see it, because it's your people. Everybody's coming here trusting you to do this, So yes, it's a very powerful medicine that's just taking off in a big way, like here in the UK. These years we've seen a lot more going on, and it will develop more. It needs to develop more. It needs to become more widely known. We need to make it more popular. Look for ways to make it more accessible. And during the weeks, for example, for some people that cannot do it during the weekend, we can do sweat lodges during the night. We can do different kind of sweat lodges for special prayers, And I think it's it's a very safe way and simple way of showing people what shamanism is and what the essence, the water, the fire, the earth, and the respect. Yeah.
Simple.
Simple, yeah, but then it will take your whole life to because nobody graduates from these ones, You can't graduate, and that's the beauty of it, because every time you're being taught a lesson. I cannot remember a day or an opportunity where I've gone into a sweat lodge or ceremony and I said that I haven't learned something new. That doesn't happen, at least if you're paying attention, so yeah. Thank you for your words about the sweat lodge, man. Good.
My pleasure, brother. Thank you for sharing this medicine.
Yeah,
and the respect element. It's so beautiful within it. To get into the lodge, you get on your knees. You kiss the ground. You say, for my relations, in there you're huddled in. There's no standing up. So that just offering yourself in humbleness to it, and praying and giving your attention. It's amazing. And I find it's easier for me personally, to integrate the lessons I've learned in something like a sweat lodge, because sometimes with the medicine, a week, 2 weeks, a month, however long later, you think back and it's like, wow, it's like a dream, because I was, visualizing something, getting shown something. It's quite hard to hold on to the important parts of that. Sometimes I have found, whereas in a sweat lodge, you're in your body. You're really in your body, as opposed to going out this way. Both are good, but when you drop into your heart, it's like, okay, I can wake up tomorrow, and I went in myself without the help of a plant teacher. And I find that easier to bring it into my life, because it's like, okay, well, instead of saying, it's easy to have a more enlightened view on things when your body's being held by ayahuasca. But in there, it was just steam. Just steam. You know what I mean, though? And like for me now, I have a practice where, every time I go to the gym, I go in the sauna. And I sit there with an intention, and I do 4 rounds. And I go out and I come back in, and I go out and I come back in. And that, just reminds me of those lessons, And I see it as sort of like microdosing on the sweat lodge. And staying grounded and staying, in my body. And that's important, and I think quite appealing to a lot of people, especially in a city, who are really terrified by the idea of going somewhere and drinking this magical liquid that who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, sweat lodge is it definitely stands away from the others medicines in a sense that in the sweat you have everything is coming out, nothing is going in, everything is going out. So in that sense you have nothing, nobody to blame, because humans, we tend to always point the finger, whatever is going on in our lives, if we don't want to accept it, we point fingers. So in the sweat, it's like, well, who you're going to point the finger if you're just drinking water and sitting in front of the grandma? So what's up? So you really, really learn to deal with things in a different way there. Because you're just giving away. I love it when people come to the sweats and they come with an attitude, because that's how it happened to me. I came to the first sweat with an attitude for, okay, I drink ayahuasca. What is just water and fire do to me? Yeah. Man, I went from the most I was scared, like I've never been scared in my life. But people have been compassionate towards me. I was allowed to go out and in because I was doing the rocks, I was doing the grandmothers, I was doing the eagles. So I have the chance to go back and in. But it was really tough, and so my first experience that the first thing I learned from Sweat Lodge is you humble yourself. That you just by kneeling before you enter, your ego has been breaking, and that's what's going to happen in the Sweat Lodge. Your ego is going to be broken, little by little you bow your head, because people can go there and they stand, they sit, like with standing up, and then little by little this thing takes over you, and then you go down and you put your forehead on the ground, and you're gonna be there, and you're gonna pray, and you're gonna go for your things, and you're gonna connect, and you're gonna let go. No matter what, you're no stronger than the fire and the water together. You are not. Yeah. And that's the beauty of that, because what happens is we all feel that there is something bigger than us that's holding us, and that everybody needs that in their lives. To feel that, what, it's okay to be broken. It's okay to just let my body go and get myself covered or mad. It's okay to cry, because at least I'm feeling held in this space. So that's, for me, is the magic of the sweat. You mentioned, and it was like, okay, good, yeah. It's like that, we all being held there. Even me, I'm pouring the water, but I'm always praying, like, please, give me enough inspiration to sing, please, I want to channel the best words, feel what's going on around, so that I can express myself in the best way possible to help my brothers and sisters. In difference to drinking the medicines, there you're completely under, it's like it's a different way. It's definitely a different way, which is also amazing, but it's not to take lightly.
Yeah. And they both totally shred your ego.
Yeah, exactly.
You're coming out without a bruising.
But they go both hand in hand. Definitely, Sweat Lodge is something that everybody should practice at least once a month. So they cleanse your. Medicine should be more taking your times, and knowing why. Always have a good intention for going to the medicine. Always a clear, good intention. Why am I going? Know how much effort it takes to come here to the AK. How much danger people put themselves into. All these things, So when you drink, you drink consciously. That you're not just looking for a fix. I think that's what I've been trying to get to. Is to use medicine for a sacred way of connecting, and not just to get a fix. But that doesn't mean that if the people that need the medicine in this way cannot have it or should not have it. Because I know people that are trying to break from strong addictions, they do need the medicine more often than other people.
Yeah.
Because I've seen cases like that. I treated cases like that where we have to have people for 3 nights, med ceremony, 4 days, to help them to break away from their addiction. So, yeah, always with respect.
Yeah.
Always with respect. I think that's a very important key, and that's the message that I would like to help to pass on. Is like, come to the medicine with a lot of respect, with a lot of clarity, as much as you can, and take your time to process, to integrate things. In a beautiful way, like that,
Yeah. And also be willing to work. That meeting halfway. for me, changed a lot of things. You know, when I went to the ceremony early, when I helped putting the TP up, when I dig in the ditches, when I'm helping with the fire, when you know you're sweating and sometimes bleeding, and you get to the ceremony and it hasn't even started yet, and you're fucking exhausted. You know, and all you want to do is lay down and just be like, okay, you know, now it's your turn, but no, sit up and have that real strong intention of, okay, I'm going to do the work as well. That transformed the whole thing for me.
Yeah. In a ceremony, something that I've seen is sometimes people come to ceremony thinking that they come into a holiday retreat. You know? The whole illusion of financial exchange can create a blockage in the process in your relation to the medicine, because it's exactly what you said. When you are connected to the whole process of the ceremony, then you can tap into what really, how deeply is going on in a ceremony, you know, because there is a lot of things happening in a ceremony. What you did to help out, clearing, drying, that created a specific frequency for your own journey, for your own ceremony. You know, so when people come to the ceremony and they just sit, take the medicine, and they're the last ones to arrive and the first ones to leave, then I tell you that their connection to the medicine is going to be different. Definitely different. And this is about what I mentioned before. Learn to be givers. We need to learn to be givers. Remember that we need to give. Not financially, you know, I'm just meaning about giving, planting, making the offerings, talking to people in need. You know, because we have many, many ways of practice compassion, mercy, and love in our lives. Because that's what we're here for. To learn those things, you know, to practice them so we can elevate, so we can live better lives, you know, more healthy, and, you know, and be more connected. So we need to start tuning into that giving. What you did, it was raining. I remember, bro, if it wasn't for you guys, I don't know what would have happened, because I have no energy on me at that moment, because I came out of the sweat lodge. So I was like completely exhausted when it started to rain, you know. So that whole thing that you created there, that is the reality you're living in. And that's how you create your reality. That's how you change your own paradigm, you know, by doing these kind of things, you know. Like, that's how I changed my life. You know, it wasn't just drinking. You know, it was drinking and being in the kitchen helping, and then cleaning the toilets, opening the holes and burying the shit, and, you know, and taking the rods and cutting the wood and putting the tipi, and all these things started to create a energy in my life, an awareness in my life, and it created more opportunities and more opportunities, ceremony by ceremony. More and more things started to open for me by giving myself, devoting myself to the work. So I think that's a very special case of shamanism as such, you know. It's you can buy your certificate, you can go to your courses and all these things, but if you're failing as a human, if you're failing as this children, as a child of this earth, as a child of the sun, money will not take you far. You need to learn to walk as who we are. We're not just tourists. Like my Mexican brother said, we're not tourists here. We're here for. So let's start. And that also includes connecting to children, connecting to the child energy. That obviously the first stage is within you. Yeah, awaken that inner child, and then connect more. It's very important to rescue our inner child, because that's what put us in so much trouble on our daily lives. And learning that in big time, bro. In Estonia, we spend time with a lot of children, and man, you need to learn how to be around them. And it took me a little while to get used to it. But then it was really cool. It was really fun to play with 3 years old, 4 years old, and see they wonder, how they see life, and so I'm big connected to that, because they know how to live. Children, they know how to live.
Bro, you're right. I teach special needs, primary school special needs children mindfulness, and it's so much easier to teach them mindfulness than adults mindfulness.
Yes.
There's no questions. It just makes sense. The real basics. Breathe, relax, take a step back.
Play.
Now how do you feel? Be nice, play, don't react. Forgive. To children. Shouting, fighting, lunchtime, the best friends again.
Exactly.
And it's amazing to see. I think I learn more from them than I teach them, to be honest. But they're just, and especially the autistic ones, the clear channel they have to something is so humbling to see. Their imaginations are just, and their imaginations are their reality. And that really clear thing of, they'll be talking to their imaginary friends. But, the fact that I can't see them doesn't mean they're not real. And, if that's their way of calming down, then, like shamanism's full of imaginary friends,
Oh, yeah.
So, it's really humbling. And I pray that we form a society where we can integrate these minds into our society, because we have so much to learn from them. Yeah. And that is a trait of a shaman, these mental health issues and defects outside the neurotypical state that were celebrated and are celebrated in more tribal cultures.
Yeah.
And we just shunt them all into one place and don't, give them any help other than a little bit of financial help here and there.
No. Bro, this modern culture is they want us disconnected, as disconnected as they can. For example, sugar, man. Sugar is the worst enemy that we have.
Yeah.
And I did my 4 days water fast at the beginning of the year. I'm preparing myself to do one soon. And it's I recommend that to everyone. Everybody should fast at least once a year, at least twice a year, at least 3 times a year. That would be good. Do 4 days, no water, just water. Sorry, nothing else but water. Then you start to clear. And first 2 days, I realized I was very emotional. I was crying a lot, but I didn't know why. And then it was clear. Water, sugar withdrawals.
Really?
Yeah. Then also the coffee and all the other things that I was not having access to. Then I realized that all these things were keeping me distracted and half blinded, if not full blinded. Third day, I was feeling like I was on medicine. Yeah, like that. I could feel this thing that is called the third eye, your pineal, like, bro, like I was starting to realize that it was there, that is there. And I thought, okay, sugar, the first thing it does is like, one of the things it does, it closes your third eye, it closes your capacity to connect. So I'm like, wow, okay, so once again, very simple things that we can do that will bring us closer to ourselves, to our feelings, to our true self. Just meditate, pray in your water, ask for help for 4 days. Beautiful. And it's safe.
Yeah.
It's totally safe.
And we're talking about processed sugar, right? Not natural sugars in fruits and
Yeah.
That's, yeah, and it's so common. I remember learning in science they gave these rats cocaine for enough time to get them addicted to cocaine, and they were going about their cage, doing what you do on cocaine,
Talking,
chatting, hooking up, whatever, staying up late, and they didn't replace it. They put sugar in too, and within like a day or two, fuck the cocaine. They were not interested in that. It was the sugar, and then they were like biting each other's tails off to get to that sugar, and it's in everything.
It's in everything.
And it's just under the radar. It's acceptable.
Yeah. Well, we lost the revolution on our dinner tables in a way. You see, like for me, one of the things I realized were the political implications of taking sugar. It has political implications because you're giving yourself, away. Like you're easier to control. You're easier to manipulate. You're easier for everything. You're just there. Now they want to bring you into a low frequency. Okay, let's go and bomb this country. All these things. They keep you on this low frequency, and sugar allows that. Because the high is fake. It's not real high. So yeah, and I lost a lot of kilos as well in the process. It's like automatically my body reacted when I stopped taking the sugars, and everything is like sort of came back to who I really was, who I really am, So yeah, again, the water as an element of connection, just doing the water is a very powerful way to live a shamanic life, if you want to call it like that, Respect your waters, sing to your waters. And we do our activities at the farm, so we need to do an altar for the water. That came to me recently. So I have 2 big crystals, so I'm going to give those crystals to the land, put them there, and we're going to build an altar for the water that we have there, because we are lucky enough to have water inside the farm, natural. So I'm going to propose that to the group soon. And so we make an altar for the water. So we give it nice, and stuff like that. We need to start doing the little water offerings so that we help people in a very simple way to connect. With the One Love Tribal Gathering, which is coming up soon as well, we always do the water blessing. And I think that, and I still believe that more of these things should be done. So we should open as many spaces possible to people to come together and pray for the waters. It's a very simple thing to do and very powerful. Like I can say, you get to do this and your life will start changing. I can guarantee you that.
We take it so for granted. We turn a tap and it's there.
Exactly.
Limitless. Yeah. And to see a movement like the pipeline in America. What's it called?
The Standing Rock.
Standing Rock. A global movement. All these celebrities flying in. It was crazy. The world was on their side.
But not big enough, eh?
you know.
I think in Colombia at this moment, we have La Laguna de Tota. It's a lagoon. How you say lagoon?
Yeah.
Massive, bro. Massive lagoon. They're gonna frack that land, bro. They're gonna frack it. Funny thing, we just have elections, so the right wing candidate won. Obviously, there's a lot of fraud, like openly, just being fraud, like just So and guess what? This the people in this region where they're doing the fracking, they vote for the right wing guy instead of voting for the other guy, which is not the left. It's not left. It's more of a social democrat. But he was saying, with me there will be no fracking. No, let the guy. He's a good thinker. He knows what's up in terms of economic, and and he knows the fossil energy is not going to take us anywhere far. So we need to start implementing it that way. So he wanted to bring new green energy, But then he lost the elections. But the funny thing is that the fracking is going to start in the land of the people that voted for the right-wing candidate. And so there you go. It's like, you should have been the first one to oppose this guy.
Yeah. It's that mysterious thing, isn't it? It seems to be a real trait with humanity at the moment in the recent history, just that short-sightedness and blindness to what's happening on your own doorstep.
Lack of connection, poverty, whatever. It's like... for me, this what happens in my home country happens all around the world, and it's happening, to many countries and to the humanity as such. We cannot divide ourselves. Oh, what's happening in Colombia? It's just in Colombia and doesn't care what happens in the UK. It's just no. Whatever happens everywhere is a matter that concerns all of us, because we're all gonna be affected. Because with Mother Earth is not divided. It's just one as a whole. So we are one as a whole. So we tend to we're very disconnected at the moment. We're well out of focus in many ways, and we need to try to. I use shamanism. For me, this is what it is. Shamanism for me is a way that I can focus myself and elaborate answers to the issues that I believe need to be addressed in order to give give my life my little bit of energy for create a better reality, a better present for my children, for my friends, for my family, for everyone. I think that's what shamanism for me is that tool to formulate answers, but that are connected to nature, are connected to the truth in a way. But I will say the truth. When I mean the truth, what I mean by the truth is that it's connected to the things that will be decisive, important, crucial for the humankind to develop, not into the future, but develop into a higher consciousness. I think that's, yeah. So, yeah, it's cool, man.
It's a beautiful prayer, man. So let's talk about the Wiradika.
Yeah,
because I know you work very closely with them, and for me, they've given me so much healing. And what about their culture do you think is so special?
Okay, the Wiras. The first time I tried the peyote was with the Wira Maracame, which is the way they call the shamans. The Maracamas, they're authorities. So, first of all, when you come in contact with the Wirat cosmovision, you realize that these are original people, as original as they can, bro. They've been here on this planet and this earth for a long, long time, and they've been doing their thing for a long time, and they've managed to keep it sacred, to keep it real, to keep it pure, to keep it very close to their heart, you know. So I think this is why you can see that they are very powerful people in a gentle way. Yeah, they don't. They treat people very nicely, and this is something I learned from them. The way they treat people, the way they. So it's with a lot of care and a lot of love. We radicals are very well trained, if you want to call it that way. You know, it's like to become a Maracame, you need to go through different stages of your learning. You need to be a singer for the community, and then you need to be also like an authority in your community, and then you have to go through different stages of your development as a Maracame, as a shaman, but also as someone that works with the community and has responsibilities towards their community. So for me, this is a very important thing, because you're dealing with real people, with people that have gone through a long process of learning, not only with the plants, but with the people, society, you know, because like you say, you learn from the children more than you can teach them, you know. So it's like the same. It's like we as humans, we need to be able to learn from how we relate to other people, you know. So yeah, Maracames are original. That's the word that I used to describe them. Will be that they're really like original medicine people. You know, that's what. And I see them doing a lot of good work, like really amazing work, like bringing a lot of healing to people, but also guidance, because they communicate with the elements, with the energies of the places, so they can tell what is needed. And people find it fascinating when the Mara come in the morning and says, you know that mountain over there? Well, that mountain is an offering. So we should go and leave a candle, and we should go and leave some coins and fruits and stuff like that. So that creates a shift in people's minds, you know. It's like, okay, that mountain is alive. That mountain has the capacity to communicate. This guy now knows, and I believe that he knows how to communicate with the energies, you know. So people open their minds more, and they start believing and understanding that we need to be respectful with nature, with everything that is around us. So Maracames are these people that are here to teach us how to reconnect to the elements and to the things around us, you know, to the mountain, to the tree, to the dogs.
And it's, as well as that, hearing that tree needs an offering, you know, this mountain needs us to go and leave some coins. It's like, oh, that mountain needs something from us. There's a relationship here. It's not just take. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not just a resource. We're part of the fabric of this earth as well, and that shifted my thought process around it, because it was like, oh, okay, I'm in service here.
Yeah.
And we need to keep these things alive and vibrant. And if we forget about them, then it's only going to be bad news for us. Mm-hmm. You know, the mountain's going to be here longer than we will. So, and what I find fascinating about the Wirakutas is when they're doing these life-changing healings, there's no showboating, there's no it's just their way of, they're chatting to someone and doing the heat and, go back and forth and just working so hard, healing after healing after healing after healing after healing, and it just comes so natural to them, and they're just themselves. And it's really beautiful to see a culture where that still is fully embedded, that magic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's they don't need to prove anything to no one. So you don't see this whole shamanic, how you say, how can we describe, shows that some people put,
Smokes and whistles. What's it called? Bells and whistles.
Stuff like, because obviously for people to have reached that level of mastering of energy, they have spent a lot of time by themselves. They have spent a lot of time in nature, and they have spent a lot of time with the medicine. So only the real ones will get to that stage where they can start extracting energy from your body and materializing right in front of your eyes. That is a really high level of mastering of energy. That's like alchemy in a way, So when you see some people trying to prove so much, then you can easily tell. Yeah.
And when they do the healings and they spit out the stone.
Yeah.
And when he first did it, I was watching him and I was like, nah, he's got to be storing them in his mouth somewhere.
Yeah.
50 healings later, I was like, no, fuck, he's actually, what the fuck?
I know that's what the first time I said, it was like, he must have the... And then I witnessed like 50 healings, so I felt like, he doesn't. It's like he's taking it out. And then in the healings, I was feeling and sometimes having visions of how he was doing the healing, how the energy was moving. So that's when I realized, oh, this is real, because I'm seeing it. I was just interpreting for the Murakami, so often I had to stay inside the healing area. So yeah, I witnessed that. I saw how the energy of the healer would go to the places and take whatever needed to be taken out and stuff. I witnessed things like, yeah. If I wasn't there, I wouldn't even believe it.
No.
I was there, so I believe. I saw what I saw, and this is what I mean is dedicate yourself to this if you want to do it. It's the only way. And you can do it. Everybody can do it. But like I say, these guys, a minimum of 20 years of training.
Hard, intense,
lifestyle. And in service with your community.
Yeah.
Because it's in service with your community that you have to be. It's not just, I do this by myself. No. It's your community. So that's why they reach these levels, it can be done. But we need to, Western society need to stop thinking that we can buy everything and that we are special, more special than others. Because we're no more special than others. We are all equal. We are all the same, We all just have to take our time. Take your time and do things with your heart and transparency and with love, and you make it far, you make it far. But my Taita one day said to me, because obviously in these journeys, you want to know how. You want to know. I want to see. Taita, how can I see? I want to see the people's issues, so I can help them to clean. I want to know. I want to know how to do this. I want to know that. And I was on and on and on with this to my Taita, my shaman, my maestro. He said to me, Rafita, come here, sit down, man. That you need to understand that you should only ask for what you need. Yeah. Never ask for knowledge or power or things that you're not gonna need. Like take yourself, time yourself. Medicine will give you what you need. So know that, yeah? Because if you start asking for things that you don't need, that you're just seeking, that's called power. And power is very dangerous. Like, most of humanity fails to power. It kneels to power, Once you taken power, that's it. Very difficult to shake that. You become that power and you use it sometimes, often in the wrong way. So in this path of the shamanic path, you should always pace yourself. Only ask for the knowledge that you need. You want to learn how to heal this? Someone came asking for your help. You need to know how to heal this person. Okay, drink your medicine. Pray to your medicine. Your medicine will show you. But don't be, asking for more things, because then you'll be out of balance. So that was beautiful and very important teaching that I received, So always gentle, slow.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, well, just before
I don't know how we end up in that one, but
yeah. Wow. Was the perfect way to end, I think. Just before we do, where can people find you? How can people come to some of your ceremonies and your sweat lodge?
Okay. Well, the easiest way is to go to my website, which is healingthelandproject.com. And Healing the Land Project is basically my way of holding my prayer. And it's been, I'm still just trying to set it up. I have the idea. The idea is changing every day. But Healing the Land is about doing projects to work with indigenous communities in Latin America.
Yeah.
Not only in Colombia. It's about spreading the knowledge of the shamanic knowledge, the indigenous ways, I do different events with drumming, the sweat lodges, the cacao ceremonies. I collaborate with other people. So there is a lot going on that web page. So people just log in, visit the page and go to events, and you can find everything there. And we have a beautiful project coming up, which is called the Seeds Alliance, and it's about growing our own food, exchanging seeds with people, with communities in Latin America, so we can help them to keep their seeds, their original seeds. So we can have projects here where planting projects where we can grow organic food that's coming from the ancestral seeds from Latin America.
Wow.
So we have like really different types of potato, corn, and so you name it. So we want to invite people to become part of this project. We have the land is there. Our farm, the owner of the farm, she's saying, let's go, let's farm. So we have the land to grow the food. So I think it's also a beautiful way, a very simple way, and real and authentic way to start a shamanic path, to awaken your shamanic self, is to plant.
Yeah, and that was made really clear to me in Senegal with our brother Rodrigo. We were with this real ancient animist tribe in the hills, the Ewol tribe, and we had our iPhones and our iPads and cameras and hiking trainers and all these things, and no one batted an eyelid. And Rodrigo had brought some corn for them from Mexico, and they one of their main diet in this tribe was corn, but yellow corn. Rodrigo pulls out this blue corn and this red corn, and the village went crazy. They were like, "Oh my god!" Like calling all the kids over, calling all the elders. They were
beautiful,
like, because that is life to them. You know, that's what it's important.
bro. That's a big prayer.
Yeah,
That's a big prayer. What he just did was to connect his ancestors to the ancestors of these lands, is to create alliances.
yeah,
To creating alliances, beautiful alliances between different continents, different cultures. Wow, yeah. So that's what we want to do. We want to bring ancestral seeds from Colombia and plant them here.
amazing.
So we just need the people to say, hey, I want to grow this. I want to be part of group A, B, C, D. We just go, prepare the land, plant. If we need to, we raise the money to build a greenhouse, which the structure is already there. We just need a bit of more investment to make it, to seal it. Then we can grow different things there in the greenhouse. So it's there. In London, funny enough, in the most difficult country to have land, where it is the most expensive, we have land available. How am I going to get our group? And how am I going to get the message up there for people to realize how massive this is? I don't know. But I need to find out. Because at different parts in the world, people are praying for land, bro. We need land, you know? I'm sitting there thinking, we already have the land. Why haven't we started?
Yeah.
So we need to do it. That's as shaman as we can get.
I hear you, brother. I hear you, man. Rafa, on behalf of myself, thank you so much for the work you're doing, man.
Oh, it's so
Thank
good.
you so
Man.
much. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me, man. What a journey, man. We talk about a lot of stuff, bro. And we can be here for ages. I was just warming up.
Round 2 coming soon, people. We heard it here.
I was just warming up, bro.
There we have it. Thank you so much for listening. I'm going to be posting a link underneath the video on YouTube with the locations to find Rafa. I really recommend attending one of his ceremonies. See you next time. Thank you so much.